And we are live. It is Toronto Stevie live Saturday morning ahead of WWE Backlash tonight. Um, if you like my content, please like and subscribe, share it out, let everyone know that I'm on YouTube, social media, Twitter X, and Facebook, and I would greatly appreciate it. And thank you very much. A little note, yes, last night, Nasty Neil was on very early Friday night, doing Friday Night in Your Head, and I was on briefly, but then my aunt from Florida called, and I had to take the call, so I kind of disappeared from the show midway through it, and didn't come back on. So that's why I kind of disappeared last night. And then I watched SmackDown, and then it got so late that I didn't get a chance to get on last night. So here it is, early Saturday morning, and let's get into the Backlash Go Home show. WWE SmackDown came from Jacksonville, Florida. I believe that's the home of Daly's Place, where AEW broadcasts. And SmackDown actually began with a graphic of Ted Turner, the chief rival of WWE. Very class move on WWE's part to pay tribute somewhat to Ted Turner. Um, and then we get a video package of the Roman Reigns Jacob Fatu feud. And then Jacob Fatu, his music hits and he comes down to the ring. He cuts a promo and he says, "I'm not fighting Roman Reigns for the title at Backlash. I'm taking that title." And, he cuts a very intense promo about how since he was a young child, they saw nothing into him. And that unlike Roman Reigns, he basically, again, cuts a nice promo. And how Roman Reigns is protected. This brings out the Usos. Jimmy and Jay Uso come down. And once again, much like for the past 3 weeks in a row, maybe 2-3 weeks in a row, basically these segments are, there's no fisticuffs between the Usos and Jacob Fatu. They just cut promos. And when it's all said and done, Jacob Fatu just drops the mic and leaves. Again, I got this vibe though while watching the Usos cut their promo. It didn't seem like they were doing the Usos. I had this heel vibe with Jimmy and Jay Uso cutting their promo. So I'm not sure. Jacob does sometimes come off as a heel, but the crowd's really into him, and they're, when he's cutting his promo, the crowd's really cheering for him. And even when Jay is now cutting his promo, his yeet chants aren't as loud as they used to be. So I'm kind of wondering, if tonight at Backlash, it would certainly be quite the swerve if Roman Reigns and the Usos kind of turn heel on Jacob Fatu, which might explain why I don't think Jacob's winning the title tonight. I think, I'm predicting it right now, that Roman Reigns will somehow, some way retain the World Heavyweight title tonight at Backlash. So if I'm wrong, I'll come on and I'll own up to it. So coming back from the commercial break, General Manager Nick Aldis wishes Jacob Fatu luck at Backlash. Fatu encounters Royce Keys. They have another interaction. And then once again, this was about 26 minutes into the show. We get the opening match of the night. The United States Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton defending the title against Kiana James. Julia is at ringside. And this was a short match. Julia jumps up on the On the ring apron, well, Kiana James is trying to beat Tiffany Stratton, and Tiffany knocks Julia off of the ring apron, and then Kiana James tries to get Tiffany Stratton, but Tiffany gets out of the way, and she hits the prettiest moonsault ever on Kiana James. It pins her 1, 2, 3. So basically, this match teased tension between Julia and Kiana James, um, probably leading to an inevitable breakup between these two. So then we go backstage, and the whole thing about this completely ridiculous storyline is tonight there's going to be a funeral for the gingerbread man, and Sami Zayn rightfully is freaking out over how stupid this is, and quite frankly, Sami Zayn is 100% right. This was like the gingerbread man's funeral was like a dumb thing, but they went all in on it. You know, coming back from the commercial break, everyone's favorite backstage interviewer and mine, the very attractive Kathy Kelly, is interviewing Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss when Rhea Ripley comes out, and I guess they're having a 6-woman tag team match against Fatal Influence later on tonight, and everybody wants revenge against Fatal Influence. Elsewhere backstage, there's Damian Priest and R-Truth. And Damian Priest actually knows R-Truth. No, okay. R-Truth said this, that he was crying over the gingerbread man's funeral. Um, um, and Damian Priest later has a match against Tala Tonga. But coming back from the commercial break, it is the actual match. Tala Tonga with Solo Sikoa in his corner, taking on one half of the World Tag Team Champions, Damian Priest. Tala Tonga, I mean, he's a pretty agile guy, but I think there's something missing in this guy. Anyway, R-Truth at one point is there. But I think this was Tala Tonga did get the pin. A choke slam, yeah. He choke slammed Damian Priest and pinned him. And I think at one point, Royce Keys came out to help out Damian Priest and R-Truth against the MFTs. So, I mean, these are good mid-card. I mean, these are basically guys in the mid-card, and they're trying to get them something for them to do. There's a clip of last week's SmackDown involving Danhausen, The Miz, Kit Wilson, and then we cut live backstage. Danhausen is backstage, and he's looking for a tag team partner at Backlash against The Miz and Kit Wilson. But I guess maybe he can't find one. And The Miz says, "Well, you have no friends here at SmackDown." And Danhausen says, "Well, Papa Shango is my friend." Good reference to The Godfather there. So yeah, let's bring back Charles Wright as the Godfather. That certainly would be bringing back as Papa Shango, and have him put some sort of curse on The Miz and Kit Wilson, or have them spit black evil goo like he did the Ultimate Warrior. Let's do something like that. So then you have Paul Heyman walking backstage, and he's trying to go to Nick Aldis's office, coming back from the commercial break. Paul Heyman is now, I think he's in the office, and they're talking about a contract. And then Gunther, so Gunther comes in, Nick Aldis tells Gunther, what you did last week was unacceptable. But with that being said, I'm happy to have you at SmackDown. So I don't know. I guess Gunther has gone from Raw to SmackDown. So maybe he's now going to challenge Cody Rhodes for the WWE title. So Gunther says, and that's what Gunther says. My future is the WWE Championship, and this brings out Cody Rhodes. I think Cody comes down to the ring to cut a promo, and about Gunther. And so basically, and then this brings out Paul Heyman. And so it's Paul Heyman and Cody Rhodes go back and forth. But then I think this is when, while Heyman is talking, Gunther came out and tried to put the sleeper hold on, Cody Rhodes. Cody came back, and I think he hit Gunther with the microphone because he still had the microphone in his hand, and then he threw Gunther out of the ring. So there was your basic brawl between these two. But I think it ended with Gunther getting a microphone, basically boasting about how he retired AJ Styles and Goldberg. And he announces, yes, that he is now signed to SmackDown. So going forward, there won't be any Raw reports with Gunther. Gunther is now on SmackDown. So you have the remaining MFTs. They lost JC Mateo and Tonga Loa. So it's Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Tala Tonga are the three remaining MFTs. And I think it's Solo. It was Tama Tonga telling Solo, we have a problem that needs to be dealt with. Solo saying, well, it's not a problem. And I think you're talking about Royce Keys. This brings out the next match of the night. And yes, there was a long interval between the previous match and this one. Matt Cardona and Ricky Saints. Matt Cardona at this point in his career is quite simply, he's just there to put people over. And this is what happened here. Ricky Saints, I think he hit the Rochambeau and pinned Matt Cardona. So I don't know what WWE what the WWE's plans are for Ricky Saints. Maybe a good mid-card run, maybe a tag team title match, tag team title win. But I mean, just in my opinion, I think Ricky Saints does have a ceiling. He's really not going to go too high in WWE. So we cut back to the funeral for the gingerbread man. Sami Zayn is there. He says, Sami Zayn says, you work your entire life and then you get this. Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae are there, just kind of, they're just bodies in a skit. You see Ray Phoenix paying respects to the death of the gingerbread man. Sami Zayn acting quite correctly, acting very disgusted by everything he sees. Elsewhere backstage is Brie Bella and Paige. They're coming to the ring. There's a Blake Monroe video. The tag team champions come out, and but as they're walking down the aisle, they're assaulted by the irresistible forces, who beat them up. And I think, or was this? No, it was Fatal Influence who came out, and they were in the ring, and they were going to have the 6-woman tag team match. But then that's when the Irresistible Forces came down to the ring, and they basically cut these promos on these girls. And first they beat up Brie Bella and Paige, and then they cut these promos. And then after the commercial break, the 6-woman tag team match, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss versus Fatal Influence. Once again, you had, but this time you had another trio interfering in matches. A lot of interference. They were having the 6-woman tag team match. When who should interfere this time? It's Jade making her return to SmackDown. Jade Cargill. She, one of them was going for a tag on Rhea Ripley, but Jade Cargill attacked Rhea Ripley from behind, and I think it was Alexa Bliss. And basically, Fatal Influence was able to get the pinfall on Alexa Bliss. After that, then Jade Cargill, B-Fab, and Mia Yim attacked the girls in the ring, and Fatal Influence took a powder. And the segment ended with Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss getting laid out by Jade Cargill and her crew. So it was they really liked the post match violence, but nonetheless, I guess that's the direction that they're going. That Paige and Brie Bella are probably going to defend their titles against the Irresistible Forces, and I guess Rhea Ripley is going to be facing Jade Cargill again at some point in the future, whereas B-Fab and Mia Yim are probably going to go after the tag team titles as well, or they're going to go after Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. So coming back from the commercial break, there's Royce Keys taking on Tama Tonga with the other MFTs at ringside. And once again, this is a good showcase for Royce Keys. Tama Tonga, even though he was a big deal in Japan, he's basically there in WWE to put other guys over. And Royce Keys easily wins this match. Coming back from the go backstage, Danhausen there's some sort of weird segment. He says in 24 hours he'll have a tag team partner for Backlash. So maybe there's going to be whether it's on the pre-show or it's early in the show, there could be a tag team match added to Backlash with Danhausen. Charles Wright, the Godfather, if you're out there, let's bring back Papa Shango. So we'll see tonight who is Danhausen's tag team partner. Coming back from the commercial break, Tama Tonga has a segment with Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura tells Tama Tonga that he's disappointed, and he tells Tama Tonga, your own brother won't even help you. And this brings in Tama Tonga. And Tama Tonga basically tells Shinsuke, get away from my brother. So coming back from the commercial break, I believe this was the gingerbread man's funeral segment. And this was pretty good. I mean, it was dumb. It was the main event segment. It was dumb. I'll admit it was just, I can't believe that they were having this. But basically, you had a coffin in the ring with the gingerbread man inside of it, and you had Trick Williams and this chorus of singers, and Trick is basically cutting this promo or almost singing, actually. They're all dressed in black, and Trick is cutting this, almost singing, and he's got these backup singers who are helping him out, and anyway, this brings out Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn, once again, he cuts this ridiculous promo. He even says this is ridiculous. It's been keeping me up all night. This is ridiculous. I'm losing my mind. This has been allowed to go on all night. he looks at Trick Williams. Trick, you don't know. Anyway, it's just a dumb move. But basically, when Sammy turns his back to the coffin, that's when you see the gingerbread man rising out of the coffin like the Undertaker. He comes out of the coffin. He's got a candy cane stick in his hand. He takes off the gingerbread man mask, and it turns out that it's a little Yachty. And basically, he just takes that candy cane stick and smashes Sami Zayn over the head with the candy cane stick and leaves him laying as SmackDown goes off the air. So it was Little Yachty basically getting some revenge on Sami Zayn. As a go-home show, this was like, again, you have all this time and all this talent, and you're cutting talent, trying to cut your payroll, and you're filling your television shows with this kind of nonsense. It's just like, it just boggles my mind that this kind of stuff would be allowed on the air. But this is what's passing for WWE programming in 2026. And somebody has got to realize that this is dumb. Like, you have all this talent, rather than putting them in these stupid skits, why not just have them have matches? And you have almost talent in there that's on the roster to lose, like a Matt Cardona, like a Tama Tonga, and you probably have more. Put them in the ring in matches, put them over, give them airtime in a match. But instead, you have these kinds of stupid main event segments like the funeral for the gingerbread man. It's dumb. Anyway, I've got to give it, once again, big thumbs down to SmackDown. It was pretty bad. So tonight is Backlash main event, Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu. I'm getting the feeling that someone's turning heel in this match. It could be the Usos. It could be the Roman Reigns and the Usos. But this is what I'm looking for. So we'll see if that comes to pass. Otherwise, thank you very much. This has been the Toronto Stevie Live Saturday morning. And enjoy the show. I hope Backlash is much better than the past 2 weeks of shows on Raw and SmackDown. So we'll see. Anyway, thank you very much for listening, and good night, everybody, or good afternoon.